Hello and welcome to another episode of Authentic Leader TV. I'm your host, Amber Ludwig of the AuthenticLeaderAcademy.com. And today I want to talk to you about how to figure out what you should be blogging about. You know, the hot buzzword for 2014 is content marketing, meaning that blogging is up on the rise more so than ever. I mean, I've always been an advocate of blogging. When I started my business back in 2000, and my first service that I started offering was WordPress websites to entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and coaches. And I knew it was going to take me time to build my business online. And the fastest way, and it was not a fast way, but the fastest way to really make my mark on the internet and to really become seen was through blogging. And ultimately, you can add to that, you know, video work or guest blogging or summits or podcasts and all these other things. But at the foundation, blogging is what's really going to push your business forward, because that's how Google works. It's operating based on ranking, you know, and indexing the different pages and posts on your website. Google wants to see that you're consistently adding high quality content to your website. Your website should not be this static, motionless blob on the internet. It should be active, and you're constantly engaging with your website, building community, and adding value. Blogging is a great way to do that. However, most people start a blog and they have all these great intentions of doing their blog, and within a month, two at the most, they stop. They stop blogging because they think nobody cares what they have to say, they're not interesting, you know, and all of this inner critic mindset stuff comes up and it gets in your way and it holds you back. But the trick is you have to stay in it to win it if you want to build that business online. And you're going to have to push through some challenges, especially the ones when you think that nobody gives a crap what you have to say. It's just not true. But what you need is a plan and a strategy in order to attack blogging. And that's it. It's that simple, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to start off with a bang. I'm going to give you my biggest gold nugget right up front, but you'll definitely want to stick around because I've got some other really great things to share with you as we move forward in this video cast. But the first one I'm going to share with you, I mean, changes people's businesses moving forward. Every time I take a client through this process when we're doing a lot of coaching on how to build their business online, they love this exercise. So I'm going to share it with you right now. What I want you to do is take out a blank piece of paper. And at the very top of that piece of paper, I want you to write your umbrella topic or your overall topic of your business. For me, it would be business development online, let's say. So at the top, I'd write online business development. The next thing you want to do is write out the big categories underneath that umbrella topic. So what are the big items that are the big topics that you talk about the most? For example, let's continue with my example here. An umbrella topic that I talk about often is branding, because branding is critical to building your business online. Another thing I talk about a lot is websites. Just even in the beginning of this video cast, we started talking about websites and how important it is to stay in motion with that website and build that following. So websites are really important to talk about for my business. Another thing would be list building. How can you build a business, a successful business online, if you don't have a focus on building your email list? Content plan. There are so many things wrapped up in developing great content online, and that's a huge part of building a successful business online. Social media. I talk about social media all the time. Why? Because it's one of the best ways to build relationships, market, build your following online, all of it. And the last one that I talk about a lot is product launches and monetizing your business. And there's a lot that I could talk about under that category topic as well. So now on my piece of paper, I have my overall umbrella topic of online business development. Then I have my 6 category topics. And now it's time for the next step. Under each category topic, I would encourage you to write down 10 to 20 subtopics of that category. So for example, let's talk about social media. Let's just tackle that one category. Well, under that category, topics that I could write about or do a video about or podcast about or talk about on social media. Number one could be I could talk about all the different social networks out there and what the differences are between the social networks. I could talk about how to increase your engagement on social networks. So how to get more likes, comments, and shares. I could talk about branding on social media. I could talk about how often to post. I could talk about what to post. You know, there's all kinds of subtopics that I could talk about under the umbrella of social media. So now as you go through this exercise, what you're going to find is you've got your 6 categories, and then under each category you have 10 to 20 different topics that you could write about. Now coming full circle, when you sit down to write your next blog post, and I encourage you to do it a minimum of once a week, minimum. Don't skip a week. Get into a routine, get into a schedule. But when you sit down and write that blog post, if you ever get that feeling coming up of, I don't know what to write about, or who cares what I have to say, what I want you to do is take out that piece of paper, and I want you just to take a quick scan through all of these over 100 different topics that you now have on your piece of paper, and I want you to scan that document for the keyword or topic that grabs you. Now, naturally, something's going to grab you. It just depends on your mood, the time of day, what's happening in your business. For me, it's always different, which is a good thing. That way I can write about all these different topics that I have. But let's say that you decide to write about the topic, you know, what to post on social media, and that just grabbed you and you feel like, yeah, I could easily write something about that. Then bam, go to your blog, come up with a really compelling title for that blog post, like the 7 things you must do when post on social media, and then bam, list out your 7 things to pay attention to. You know, make sure you have a compelling introduction, and make sure at the end you have a call to action inviting people to comment and engage with you, share your blog post on social media, whatever it is that you want them to do next with this information. You always have to have a call to action. But now what you'll find is you have this entire document full of ideas for you, which means there shouldn't be any excuse moving forward if you know, not knowing what to write about, because now you have over 100 ideas of what to write about. But let's pretend that that's not good enough, and let's say that you've written about your 100 blog topics and let's say that you're still grasping for more to write about. There's a few other ideas I have for you. Number 1, survey your audience. This is the best way to get content, whether it's for your blog or videos or social media, or for product development and future webinars and monetizing your business. I survey my audience regularly. I mean, probably every other month, I have a survey of some sort going out to my audience, and I'm asking them, what's your burning question? What's on your mind? What's your biggest fear? What's your biggest issue? What's your biggest goal? You know, and so be sure to ask different questions as you move into all of these surveys. But what will happen is your audience is just going to come back at you with all these different questions and concerns and ideas and goals, which is awesome, because now not only are you getting ideas to write about and talk about, but now you know that you're giving your audience exactly what it is that they want and need, which is only going to help your results moving forward, especially if you're a coach. So anytime you have the opportunity to survey your audience, whether it's via email or on social media, or if you're calling some of your clients and asking them if they can answer a few questions, whatever your chosen method is, and of course you can always mix it up, surveying your audience is going to give you ideas for months and months and months to come. So I love that idea of surveying the audience. The next tip, the third tip that I would give you, and this is especially for coaching clients, if you are a coach, take really, really good notes on all of your coaching calls, and even consider having a questionnaire that people fill out before having a coaching call with you, especially for the first time. So for me, I do have an application questionnaire that my coaching clients will fill out before we meet for the first time. And it's very thorough. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time for those people to fill out, but hey, it's all for the greater good, because I want to make sure that when I'm coaching somebody, I give them results and I transform their issues, and I'm giving them an action plan, and that it's worth their time and it's worth their investment. So coaching is something I take very seriously. Well, so what I have is I have this collection of all of these different questionnaires that clients have filled out in the past, and then attached to that questionnaire is an extra page of all of my notes from each of the sessions that we've had together. If I ever feel stuck on what to write about or what to talk about or what to do or what product I should create, you bet your bottom dollar I pull out that coaching folder. I've got many of them now, and I just start sifting through the pages, and I remember those coaching calls and the questions and the struggles and the all of those things that we talked about, and bam, within a minute, if that, I usually come up with a great idea for my next blog post or for my social media post, and I just get started on it. So you're seeing here that the way that I do my content is I have to be on fire about it. I have to be excited about it, just like I'm excited about this video right now. Because if I wasn't excited about it, it sure wouldn't have any kind of an impact on you, right? It wouldn't help propel my business forward. So you have to be excited and emotionally charged when you're writing your blog posts if you want to get those really great over-the-top results from it. So by finding topics that you're really fired up about, the writing is just going to flow out of you. It's going to be really cool. The fourth tip I have for you, and I just have one more after this one, but this fourth tip is kind of a biggie, and I've used this many times in my business over the years, because as you can imagine, running a blog for almost 8 years, that's a lot of topics to write about. So yeah, you do want to kind of get fresh creative ideas from time to time. And here's what I do. I'll go to Google and I'll type in my topic, my overall umbrella topic, or one of my category topics. Usually it's a category topic, but it just depends on the day. So let's say that I decide to type in my category list building. I would type that into Google and just see what pops up. There's going to be videos that pop up and blog posts and articles and forums and all kinds of things that pop up. And I just start clicking through the different links that show up to get ideas. So for example, let's say the first listing that comes up on Google under list building is somebody else's blog, and they're talking about 7 ways to build your email list. Well, what I'll do is I'll scan through that article to see if anything grabs me. And let's say that they made a comment about subject lines in email marketing. Well, maybe that just charges me up out of nowhere, and I decide to go write my own blog post now about 3 mistakes most people make on their subject lines when sending out emails or something like that. So I don't go to these blogs to steal their content or take their ideas. What I do is I go to other people's websites and blogs and scan through different keywords or ideas, but then I generate my own blog topic out of something that I've seen that's completely different than anything else on their website. Because you shouldn't want to be about taking other people's content or ideas. There's no originality in that, and that means that you're not going to stand out online. Instead, you should be the one leading the way by coming up with your own creative, original, fresh ideas. So just kind of go to other people's websites to get ideas for yourself and then go implement those. Now, let's go back to the Google page example. Let's say that the second example or the second listing that comes up on Google is video. There is nothing wrong with going over to YouTube and checking out all the different video topics that are on YouTube, because they're very different most times than blog posts or articles that have been written on other people's websites. So just go to YouTube and type in list building and see what comes up, and I bet you'll get a lot of ideas there. Now, if we go back to Google and the third listing under list building, let's say it's a book on Amazon. This is a cool one, and I can't even remember where I first got this idea, but it was somebody else that told it to me, or I read it somewhere, and I thought, dang, that's brilliant. So what you do is you go to Amazon and you can type in list building, or if that book had already come up in the Google search, what you do is you go to that book on Amazon on list building and check out that person's table of contents. Love this idea, because there could be 15, 25 chapters inside of that book on list building, and now you're going to come up with all kinds of other ideas to write about and under that topic. And what you can do is, as you're doing all this research online, don't be afraid of continuing to add to that list, like I talked about under my first tip of making that content plan. That way you can come back later and always have fresh ideas from that content plan. So that's tip number 4. My fifth tip on how to find topics to write about for your blog is I would encourage you to go into forums and groups. And sometimes this can work with blogs too. But let's say that you log into LinkedIn and you find a group on internet marketing. And let's say that there's a whole thread happening about list building. What you can do is you can look at the person's question and, hey, maybe that's good enough. You just answer that person's question as a blog post. And then otherwise, what you could do is start looking through the thread of comments that happen as a result of that post, and you'll get different people's opinions and feedbacks, and maybe this debate is starting, and you'll get all kinds of ideas just by looking inside of groups and forums and seeing what questions people have. Another thing that just came to mind, which is kind of related, is when you are emailing your clients, especially if you are a coach or you have a service-based business, what I would do is just really be mindful of the questions that your clients are asking you inside of your emails. For example, just this morning, I got a client that was really concerned about her client avatar. So this is a branding question. And she was saying how I really want to do it right the first time. I want to make sure that I nail my perfect target client so that all of my writing materials appeal to that one person. However, I'm starting to question if that's my perfect audience or if I should open it up to this bigger market, and here are the reasons why. And she was very concerned about this, naturally so. But what happened is I was in the middle of this whole long response teaching her about avatar and the natural evolvement of your business and how you shouldn't be so concerned about trying to get it perfect from the get-go, because your message and business is meant to evolve over time. So there is no getting it perfect, because it's just going to change, and whatever you did now wouldn't be perfect for where you're going to be. Instead, do what you think is right now, and let your business and message and following evolve according to what your audience needs from you and what you think your audience needs. And it's kind of this back and forth fluid relationship. Well, dang, I was sitting there writing this whole long response, and I thought, ooh, this is going to be a good blog post. So I copied my response and I put it into a Word document that I saved for later because I had other things going on in my schedule and I couldn't stop everything to write that blog post right now. But hey, the next time that I get stuck on what to write about, or when that blog post is due next, I'll just pull out my reserve of the mostly written article, you know, make a few adjustments to make it more general so that everybody can get value from my response, and bam, you know, now I have another blog post. So out of all of the suggestions I gave you today, I would encourage you to definitely start that content plan and then just be mindful of these other ideas so that if you ever get stuck on what to write about, you always have some place to go and get an idea or get an answer. Again, it's all about posting consistently. What I would encourage you to do next is leave me a comment below and let me know what was your biggest takeaway or aha moment in this video. And let's keep the conversation going, because I really want to get to know you and your business idea, and I want to support it in propelling your business forward into the future. Also, if you like videos like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you'll get a little notification letting you know when the next one is available. And as always, I would be super grateful if you'd be open to sharing this video on your social media accounts so that I can help more people with this message. In the meantime, I want to thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see your comments below and communicate with you that way, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.